memories becoming forgettable, hearts becoming broken by belief in fairy tales told by devilish people, and God-fearing people giving up on faith due to joys that take over their sanctuaries with no remorse. The month of January brings floods. The month of February brings suffocation. The month of March brings sorrow. The month of April brings depression with no remedy. The month of May brings heartache and pain. The month of June and July and August brings storms of evil.
Welcome back to How They Do That. First of all, I want to say I appreciate all the support for the channel. We just hit 2K, and now the next milestone is going to be 5,000. So if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe, notification bell. Just make sure you don't miss out on any of our content. Today, we have a crazy story that's been circulating around the internet, and unfortunately, 4 people lost their lives. I'm gonna let y'all hear the news clip, and we'll get back to my breakdown of the events afterwards.
Where 3 women were killed in a triple shooting. This is over in Manatee County, not far from the Tampa-St. Petersburg area. And those killed include the mother and cousin of the man deputies believe pulled the trigger. This all happening overnight, and the Manatee County Sheriff is joining now to give an update.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Before I get started, just wanted to say that our thoughts and our prayers go out to the families of the victims of this tragic event. We pray that God watches over them during this very, very tragic time. Just want to try to give you a timeline of the events that took place last night. And before I get started, really want to show you the killer himself, the one that is responsible for 3 homicides in Manatee County last night. His name is Javontee Brice. He is 28 years of age. He is the one that went on a killing spree last night in Manatee County. So we believe initially that this all started sometime before 9 o'clock when Mr. Brice traveled to the Palmetto Trace apartments in Palmetto, in the city of Palmetto. Inside one of those apartments was his sister and a mother of one of the many children that Mr. Brice has. When he walked into the apartment, he looked at the ex-girlfriend and said, "I have to kill you." Somehow, the sister was able to talk him down and talk him out of him shooting this ex-girlfriend. She later told investigators that he was acting very strange, not really sure what was going on with him. At 9:17 p.m., we know that he traveled to the Motel 6 in East Bradenton. Inside one of those rooms was his mother, his mother's boyfriend, and 2 young juvenile sisters. He walked into that hotel room, looked at the mother and said, "I'm sorry." She asked, "What did you do?" And he shoots her 3 times in front of the boyfriend and these 2 innocent young juveniles. He then travels into Palmetto to the 900 block of 26th Street East. One of his cousins was at a cookout at this residence. She's starting to get into her vehicle to leave. He then shoots her at that location. She later dies about an hour after this shooting at a local hospital. We then have him traveling into the city of Bradenton over the Green Bridge. And at roughly 10:04 p.m., he travels to a location in the city of Bradenton in the 4800 block of 51st Street East. This is a residence where another ex-girlfriend lives and her now new partner. He does not shoot or kill the girlfriend, but he shoots and kills the new partner. So at this point, we now have 3 homicide scenes and also an ag assault scene at Palmetto Trace. Investigators are constantly getting information. We know right away that the suspect is Javontee Brice. The family has been very cooperative. They tell us exactly what's going on. We find out that he possibly has another ex-girlfriend in the state of Georgia and that he is now traveling to that state to kill her. We put out a statewide BOLO. Luckily, sheriff deputies with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office spots the vehicle that Mr. Brice is driving. They stop him. He immediately gets out of the car and starts firing upon them. they returned fire, shooting and killing him there in Hamilton County. And that's where everything ends. I can't really go into all the details. I have talked to Sheriff Reed out of Hamilton County to make sure that those deputies are okay. They are, they're fine. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement will be investigating that deputy-involved shooting there in Hamilton County. But that's what we know right now. We don't know a motive, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what set this man off. We don't know why he chose to kill his loved ones. We may never know, but we're going to continue to investigate. It's a very fluid and active investigation, and we're trying to get all the answers to the questions that we all have. So that's where we're at right now, and I'll take any questions that you may have.
Okay, so one of the craziest parts about this story is that throughout this rampage, this guy was actually posting social media messages. I'm gonna put some of those on the screen for you guys so you can check them out. So supposedly this murder spree began at an apartment complex in Palmetto where this guy Brice actually met up with his sister and his ex-girlfriend. At some point he tells the ex-girlfriend, you know, I gotta kill you. And his sister was able to talk him down and get him obviously to not shoot her or kill her. What the sister did after that, what the girlfriend did after that, no one is really saying. However, when he left that location, he went to the Motel 6. It was at the Motel 6 where he walked into the room where his mom was staying and the mom's boyfriend and 2 kids. And apparently, you know, went up to the mom and said, I'm sorry. The mom asked him, what did you do? And he shot her 3 times in front of everybody that was there, the kids and the boyfriend. And, you know, obviously that's crazy that anybody would kill anybody, let alone their own mother. And the fact that he did that in front of some of those kids is even more horrendous. The conversation that Brice had with his mother prior to pulling the trigger is even more haunting, and I'm sure that she must have been horrified in her final minutes. The witnesses to her death had to be horrified as well. As I said, it was a couple kids there, and I'm assuming her boyfriend or husband. So about 30 minutes later, police were called to another home in Palmetto where Brice's 29-year-old cousin was sitting in an SUV and she was shot. Apparently she was leaving a cookout that was celebrating her birthday, and he pulled up on her and shot her and killed her. It was around that same time that he sent one of the messages on Facebook to the cousin saying, I love you and I'm gonna see you in hell. And this is the cousin that supposedly he had a relationship with, but we'll talk more about that later. Really crazy stuff, and obviously it wouldn't end there. Brice then went to one of his ex-girlfriend's houses and shot his ex-girlfriend's partner, okay? And then he still was posting on Facebook after that, stating, Pig, I love you, but you had to go. His relationship with the ex-girlfriend's partner, Pig, I'm not sure what that was about. Obviously he knew her, but he killed her, and then he went on the run. By this point, authorities were already looking for him. He was on his way to go see this next lady who was possibly going to be his next victim, Kyla D. Blackman. So at some point on his way to go see or kill this next lady, he's riding around the Georgia and Florida border. The lady lives in Georgia, and he was pulled over. They said that Brice got out of the car and started shooting. Deputies returned fire and they killed Brice. Apparently he was also riding around, or when he was pulled over and shot, he had a female in the car with him. She hasn't been charged yet, but apparently they're trying to figure out if she was riding around with him for this shooting spree. My goal here is to try to get the facts somewhat straight, and just give you guys, the viewers, just a better understanding of the actual events that transpired. So numerous social media outlets and YouTube channels have been reporting that Brice and his cousin were in a relationship, and that was the reason that he went on this rampage. Somehow their relationship was discovered, and this led him to committing these acts. Other media outlets are saying that this guy was on the down low or a closet homosexual, and he was about to be exposed or had been exposed, and this was the reason that he went on the rampage. Obviously, 3 people lost their lives. There's never a good reason for that occurring, and personally, regardless of the reasoning, I feel like this guy has some mental health issues. So after looking at some of the text messages between Brice and the cousin, one could assume that they had a close relationship. I'm not sure if I would go so far as to say that they had a romantic relationship, but like I said, the internet is kind of coming up to their own conclusion and reasoning for this tragic set of events happening. Another question that I have about this is, did the ex-girlfriend and sister contact any authorities after he made the threat to kill her and she had to basically negotiate the ex-girlfriend's way out of the situation? Did they contact authorities immediately? Did they call 911? I mean, what action did they take to prevent this rampage from happening, if any? I mean, obviously, I'm not going to blame them, but I do feel like if somebody, one of my family members was on that type of hype, yeah, we got to get you some help immediately. And, obviously the timeline is kind of tight. So apparently maybe he left that situation with the sister and the ex-girlfriend and went straight to the motel. So regardless of his reasoning for, committing these acts, I think that we all just need to focus on the fact that 3 people actually lost their lives and just, try to keep these victims and their families in our prayers. We all just need to be on the lookout for people that do have mental health issues. And, I believe this guy had some kind of protective orders put on him in the past. And, I'm assuming that people in his family knew he had some kind of issues. However, you just got to keep your eyes open and be aware if somebody's looking triggered or going through some things, and, make sure you keep your eyes open for that. Maybe it'll give you the head start you need to save yourself. Once again, if you like the content, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We on the march to 5,000 subs. I appreciate you guys' support. But this has been another episode by How They Do That. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family.